Ever wondered what happens when personal and professional lives intertwine in a legal battle? Welcome to the intriguing saga of a lawsuit that has gripped the media world. The parent company of the news podcast Louder with Crowder has filed a lawsuit against the ex-wife of host Steven Crowder, Hillary, and a former employee, Jared Monroe. The accusation: extortion. Louder with Crowder LLC alleges that Hillary and Monroe conspired to extract more money from Steven in their impending divorce proceedings than Texas law would permit. An intriguing twist to an already complex legal battle. The lawsuit paints a picture of a strategic plot where Hillary and Monroe allegedly worked together to squeeze Steven for more than what was legally allowed. This isn't just a simple case of a broken marriage or a disgruntled employee. It's a tale of alleged manipulation, strategic plotting, and a quest for monetary gain, all under the veil of a contentious divorce. But why would they possibly want to make this all public? Let's delve into the alleged plot. In the eye of this legal storm, we find Hillary, Steven Crowder's ex-wife, former employee Jared Monroe, and other members of Hillary's family. The accusation? They intentionally thrust the divorce into the public sphere to tarnish Steven Crowder's reputation and expedite a settlement. The plot begins to thicken in August of 2022. A year after filing for divorce, Hillary sends a message to a group of friends and family. It's time, she says, for this divorce to go public. The fallout from this decision, the lawsuit alleges, was calculated and deliberate. And what was the endgame of this public spectacle? The lawsuit suggests a calculated strategy. Hillary and her allies, it claims, believed that the court of public opinion would pressure Louder with Crowder, the parent company of Steven's news podcast, to force a settlement. A quick resolution to this very public divorce would, in theory, minimize damage to Steven's reputation and the company's brand. But the plan, it seems, didn't stop at merely making the divorce public. The defendants, according to the lawsuit, launched a full-scale media campaign to tarnish the image of Louder with Crowder. The aim? To create social pressure and optics that would force the company to push Steven towards a settlement in the divorce proceedings. The defendants were optimistic. Making things public, they thought, would put Louder with Crowder in a tight spot. The company would then have to force Steven to settle quickly or risk further damage to its reputation and brand. The stage was set, and the defendants, the lawsuit alleges, were ready to play their part in this courtroom drama. But, as we all know, in every story, there are always two sides. This is a tale of allegations and counter-allegations, of claims and denials. And while we've heard one side of the story, the other side is yet to unfold. But this is not where the story ends. Money, as they say, is often at the root of the problem. This age-old adage rings true in the ongoing legal drama between the Crowders and their former employee. The monetary aspect of this situation is indeed a tangled web. The court has ordered Steven Crowder, host of the well-known podcast Louder with Crowder, to pay a hefty sum of $25,000 a month to his ex-wife Hillary. This has been the status quo for the past 2 years. It's a substantial amount, no doubt, but one that was deemed fitting by the court in their divorce proceedings. Yet, despite receiving $250,000 every month, Hillary recently took to social media, stating that she can no longer afford to be a stay-at-home mum. It's a puzzling statement considering the monthly alimony she receives. It begs the question, where does all this money go? However, it's important to remember that we are privy only to the surface of their financial affairs. The true depth and complexity of their monetary situation remain a mystery to us. What we do know is that the financial strain is palpable. The financial aspect of this drama isn't just limited to Steven and Hillary. There's another player in this game, the former employee Jared Monroe. Monroe, who had not been in touch with Hillary for nearly 6 years, suddenly found himself embroiled in this messy situation. But the question remains, so where does the former employee fit into all this? It's a question that has everyone on edge, waiting for the next piece of the puzzle to fall into place. As we delve deeper into this legal drama, we'll unravel the role of Jared Monroe and how he fits into this jigsaw. But in the meantime, we're left with more questions than answers, and a story that gets more intriguing by the minute. Enter Jared Monroe, the ex-employee. A key character in this unfolding drama, Monroe was once part of the Louder with Crowder team. His departure from the company in August of 2018 was not without its legal entanglements. As part of his separation agreement, Monroe was bound by a non-disparagement clause, a common element in many professional parting of ways. This clause essentially required Monroe to refrain from making any negative remarks about the company or its associates, thereby preserving the reputation of Lauder with Crowder. However, the drama thickens. The lawsuit alleges that Monroe, despite not having communicated with Hillary for nearly 6 years, became a willing participant in the alleged extortion scheme. The suit suggests that Monroe's involvement went beyond just casual participation, and in doing so, he potentially violated the non-disparagement clause of his separation agreement. The question then arises, what might have motivated Monroe to allegedly engage in such a scheme? The answer to that may be as complex and multifaceted as the case itself. But at its core, it points to a potential misuse of legal agreements and a disregard for professional conduct. Now remember, these are allegations, and as such, they are part of a legal process that seeks to determine the truth. Monroe, like any individual, is innocent until proven guilty, and while the court of public opinion might be quick to cast judgment, it's important to let the legal system do its job. This brings us to an interesting crossroads in the narrative. What happens when an ex-employee allegedly turns against their former employer? How do companies protect themselves and their reputations in the face of such accusations? And perhaps most importantly, what are the potential consequences for those who allegedly violate their agreements? So what was the response from Lauder with Crowder? The company did not take these allegations lightly, but to understand their reaction, we must delve into the next chapter of this legal saga. As we transition into the company's response, remember, every story has multiple perspectives, and it's within these varying viewpoints that we often find the most fascinating aspects of any legal drama. Lauder with Crowder did not take these accusations lying down. The parent company of the news podcast, in a swift and decisive move, sent a cease and desist letter to Monroe. The cease and desist was not a mere warning. It was a potent legal tool, a clear message to Monroe that his alleged actions would not be tolerated. It was a demand to halt the purported negative media campaign that, according to the company, was damaging its reputation and potentially coercing Steven Crowder into an unfavorable divorce settlement. But the cease and desist was just the start. The company took it a step further. They filed a Rule 202 petition, a unique provision under Texas law that allows a party to investigate potential claims before a lawsuit is filed. The purpose of this petition was to seek Monroe's deposition, an opportunity for the company's legal team to question Monroe under oath, to delve into the specifics of his alleged involvement in the so-called extortion scheme. The Rule 202 petition also requested that Monroe produce documents. These were no ordinary documents. They were potentially incriminating pieces of evidence, correspondence, contracts, messages that could substantiate the company's claims. If such documents existed, they could prove that Monroe violated his non-disparagement agreement, that he willingly partook in a plot to publicly smear Steven Crowder and the company, that he was, in fact, a key player in the alleged extortion scheme. The company's response was a calculated legal strategy designed to protect its interests and those of its host, Steven Crowder. It was a response that demonstrated the company's readiness to fight, to challenge the allegations head-on, to seek justice through the courts. But while the company took a stand, the court of public opinion was another battleground altogether. The question remained, how has the public reacted to this? The court of public opinion is always in session. The lawsuit has sparked a flurry of discussions, debates, and downright outrage in some quarters. Jared Monroe, the former employee, added fuel to the fire with a video accusing his former employer of legal abuse. The video struck a chord, and within a single day he received $72,000 in donations. Monroe's video, it seems, has given voice to a growing disenchantment with the way power and influence can be wielded in the legal system. But let's not forget, this is a legal battle, and the final verdict lies in the hands of the court, not public sentiment. As things stand, the lawsuit continues, and the allegations remain just that, allegations. So there you have it. A complex web of personal issues, professional allegations, and legal battles. Only time will tell how this saga unfolds.